Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with top-ranked promoter Bob Arum, who has cast doubt over whether the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder trilogy fight will happen around October, and primarily because of ticket sales and wanting a crowd to be at the fight, because it did earn $17 million or close to it in the rematch. So Bob Arum, talking to Top Ranks at Christina Poncha, says, when the fans in the last fight put in almost $17 million into the coffers in purchase of tickets, how do you replace that $17 million? I mean, you don't. You can't. A Fury-Wilder fight might have to wait a couple more months until we can go back to full spectators. For a sport like boxing, when big events where the gate money is so much a big percentage of the revenue, I don't see how you can do it without spectators. Those were Bob Arum's statements to Christina Poncha. And he does actually echo the sentiment that many fans have been sharing in this pandemic, that perhaps when boxing comes back, some of these big fights may in fact be pushed back a bit until people feel safe, going to events in large numbers. And perhaps closed-door fights will happen before the big spectacle fights. So you may get some good fighters, very good fighters, on smaller type cards behind closed doors or smaller crowds before you see some of these mega fights like Fury-Wilder 3. And obviously, like Arum says, $17 million is still $17 million. It's a lot to sniff at, and you wouldn't want to just sort of give that up and walk away from it. Meanwhile, Fury's co-promoter Frank Warren is telling Deontay Wilder to go back and look at the rematch. He says Wilder needs to go and put the television on, rerun the fight, and see that Fury is the champion. End of story. And Warren has told Express Sport that after Wilder came on the PBC podcast saying that he does not recognize Tyson Fury as a champion, and that he lost the fight in the 15 minutes before the bell, not after the first bell. So Warren continues, everyone when they lose, there's always an excuse. Going into it, he said he was the fittest he'd ever been. It is what it is. The first round was the 13th round, really. He caught Tyson with two good shots and Tyson took them and out-bullied the bully. I think it's one of the most significant fights that I've been involved with as a promoter in my time in boxing. For a British fighter, it ticked all the boxes. He was away from home, two guys in their primes, fighting a guy who has the best knockout ratio and the biggest puncher in the division. He didn't just go there and nick it. He went out there and destroyed him. He done him in every single department. He did a job on him. It's one of the best achievements from a British boxer fighting abroad. He took him to school. Meanwhile, Charles Martin, who was a PBC fighter like Deontay Wilder, has questioned Deontay Wilder and why he would want to wear a 40-pound suit on his ring walk. So he said it weighed 40 pounds. Why would you wear that? They didn't bring it to him on the day of the fight. Here's the 40-pound suit you've got to wear. He knew the suit weighed 40 pounds, so why wear it? That is his fault. Ain't nobody's fault but his. It was stupid to wear 40 pounds of weight on your body when you've already got skinny legs. Be smart. Who does that? We're cool, but I'd fight any of the top guys. The unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has identified 6 names he'd like to fight before he retires. So he was asked who would he like to fight if he had a tick list, and he stated Alexander Usyk, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Luis Ortiz, and then went on to add, when pressed, Adam Kovnatsky and Jarrell Miller. He said, that's 6 names. So there is a couple of those who do look likely. I think someone like Alexander Usyk, being the WBO mandatory, is someone that Joshua will eventually fight. But of the others, it's hard to say. He does have some beef that he would like to settle with Jarrell Miller, who obviously failed a number of doping tests ahead of a scheduled fight with Joshua. Adam Kovnatsky coming off a loss. Him and Luis Ortiz might be the 2 of the 6 that are a little bit maybe on the bubble of would they actually get a fight. Kovnatsky has to rebuild after his first career loss, and Luis Ortiz, who knows how long he's actually going to be in the sport. He is 41 years old now. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, those are the two legacy-defining fights for Anthony Joshua at this point. Maybe some other names, the up-and-comers, will end up being meaningful fights for Joshua towards the back end of his career. But right now, that's not a bad six to sort of list off. But obviously, right now, he's got Murat in his next fight. So we'll see where things go with those six names. If I had to guess, he might face 2 or 3 of those, and the others, for a myriad of reasons, either it just doesn't get done because of money, interest, but also, say in Luis Ortiz's case, he may in fact be retired before Joshua gets the chance to face him. And Frank Warren, the co-promoter for Tyson Fury, he believes that if Joshua and Fury do meet, that Tyson Fury will do to Joshua exactly what he did to Wilder. And that's him also talking to the Express. What people forget about Fury is that he's got a very strong chin. He's got a great boxing brain. He's got a great hand speed. He's got great footwork. He's brave. We've seen him get off the floor. We've all seen him do that. AJ was terribly exposed against Andy Ruiz Jr. He got absolutely exposed in the second fight against Ruiz Jr. when he was even heavier than he should have been, totally out of condition. AJ trained hard. It's what you should do as a pro. He fought on the back foot, but I look at it this way. David Haye, though, he believes that Anthony Joshua could be the guy that could defeat Tyson Fury, saying, I think the only person who has the artillery, the skill set, the athleticism, the clean living, the know-how, the experience to have a chance to beat Fury right now is Anthony Joshua. I think he's the only person realistically, if you were a betting man, if anyone's got a chance, they'd put their money on Joshua. So he's the only guy who's got the tools to do it. If he lands his shot on Fury, the way Fury got put down, although his chin looked good last time, but Anthony Joshua is a master boxer as well. And this is talking to Boxing Social. He went on to add, they underestimate his boxing skill. He hasn't been boxing as long as Fury has, so he's still learning. I don't know. I can see Fury outboxing Joshua on the inside, but then again, I can see Anthony Joshua letting his hands go in the middle of the ring. He throws such quick shots. The way he knocked out Alexander Povetkin, the fight was uncomfortable for him for a few rounds, but when he put his shots together, it was over. And Haye, he has also stated he's interested to see the third fight between Fury and Wilder, saying, I'm intrigued to see the rematch. Sometimes things happen in fights, and if you fight 10 times, someone might win 9 times. Any big guy like that, the record, the power, the height, the costumes, the excitement of the last fight, and the excitement of the first fight, these guys could fight 10 times and you'd get different results. But looking at that last fight, I'm a fan of Fury and Wilder, both warriors, both big powerful men, different skill sets, but their styles gel beautifully. The third fight, is Fury going to be overconfident in thinking he's got his measure, and Wilder all of a sudden comes in at a different level and shocks him with one of those massive shots? That's David Haye. And heavyweight Murat Gassiev has confirmed that he will be sticking with Abel Sanchez. Sanchez has lost a number of heavyweights in recent years, most recently Guido Vianello to Kevin Barry, and also Joe Joyce, who has originally went to Adam Booth and now is with Ismail Salas. But Gassiev says, everything suits me, so I will continue to train with Abel. If necessary, Vitaly Konstantinovich will also help me. Gassiev has been out of the ring since the World Boxing Super Series final at cruiserweight in mid-2018. A long-awaited heavyweight first fight has been delayed a number of times through injury. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.